Psych. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Indiana Success Happy Hour. Brian Quinlan here from Daniels Real Estate.
Brad Niccum from Nest Mortgage Group.
You look taller today.
Well, I'm sitting on a phone book.
That's what we're doing with phone books these days.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well, and oddly enough, right now, I'm looking up someone's number.
All right. Well, you'll notice on the screen we have yet another guest, sir. Tell the folks who you are.
Oh, good day. Thank you for having me. So my name is TJ Marsh. I am the owner and creator of Hoosa Vodka.
Oh, hey, Hoosa Vodka.
So,
All right.
Yeah. I just started this about, the endeavor started about 3.5 years ago, but we came out to market last February of last year. It's taken off very rapidly. I'm now in over 200 stores and bars across the state of Indiana.
Awesome.
And this February, we brought out the pickle shots.
Oh, baby.
Uh-oh.
Are you up for a pickle
Brian
shot?
loves some pickles.
I do like pickles. All right. Well, we're going to get into your story, but first, let's talk about beverages. We have multiple beverages.
I mean, this is
going
like
on
a
today.
beverage counter.
It's
almost
crazy.
like a bar.
The funny part was Brad had to talk quietly to his bar and let the bar know that there was going to be a drink here that wasn't tequila today.
I didn't want it to roll things off.
That's understandable. All right. Well, I see a bottle of tequila there, Brad. What you got?
I just cracked it today. The first time I've tasted it. Casa Mate, coming out of Non 1577. And I'll have an interview coming up with the owner, but it's a tasty little tequila.
Thank you for not calling it Casa Mate. That's what it looks like.
My Spanish has come, a long way.
Very, very nice.
And like he said earlier, I always say mucho to all of my Mexican friends because it means a lot to them.
That's right.
Great dad joke. All right. Well, I'm rocking some Gumball Head from Three Fluids in Munster, I believe.
Is the cartoon smoking?
Could be. I have my glasses on. I could probably tell. But yeah, I'd say that thing. Is that thing smoking?
Definitely has a blunt.
Definitely has a blunt.
He's
Well,
got
awesome.
a blunt.
Well, today this is an American wheat pale ale, and my COVID from a couple weeks ago still diminished my taste. So from what I can tell, muscle memory tastes like a beer that I normally like. So, TJ, you brought us some beverage today.
I did. Yeah. So I brought some examples of the product that we have on market currently. Mm-hmm. And I have a couple that I'm working on for next year's release.
Secretive?
Yeah, I'm not ready to
Okay, that's totally fine.
I guess
He will be by the end of the show.
I guess I could, but we're still rounding out the end of this year on our push.
Okay.
And we've made a lot of traction, especially in the bar market, right, on the on-premise, and just really grateful and appreciative and excited for the growth that we're experiencing in these early years.
All right. And
Very cool.
they're Moscow Mule, I believe.
So yeah, there's a local bar that had adopted Hoosa Vodka last year, and
Nice.
they're making excellent Moscow Mules, but they the supply for their ginger beer ran up, and they discovered a local craft brewer of ginger beer. So Agro Seltzer is made right here in Indianapolis.
What's up, Agro Seltzer?
Right. And so over at Natural State, they craft these, and they gave me some of that ginger beer and some lime juice. And I obviously have my own vodka.
What?
And so I thought I would make it because it's quite incredible. One of the best.
And
fresh.
you're having
watching two of you compete for getting to me first and telling me about your podcast. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Because
for the record, it was Will that
yeah.
Moscow Mules.
Give
I've
it a
had.
try.
Vodka here is your taste buds gonna be okay with that?
Man, that's good.
That's
a good mule.
that ginger is just so fresh,
perfect
and bright. Yeah, it's excellent.
As it turns out, I don't care for ginger, so I've declined, but appreciated the offer.
How do you not like ginger?
I don't know. It's a taste that I just never ever like.
What about
I don't like
Marianne?
gin. Now that's a different story. That's a different episode. All right. Well, sir, thank you for being here today.
Cheers.
It's a pleasure.
Cheers.
We're all meeting each other for the first time today. TJ came to me from a neighbor of mine, Sarah. Thanks for making the introduction here. And then you met my wife and son.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was quite fun.
I had talked to Sarah. This was a while back, and she said, "Would you be interested in having a friend of mine? He has a vodka." I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And then I dragged my feet on it, and then I heard you were going to be at the store, and I was like, "Okay, somebody's got to get me TJ's information. We're going to get him on the show." And Will the Thrill was on it.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, Will.
He doesn't watch the show either.
You
All
see
right.
you enough as it is.
That's correct. All right. Well, let's get a little background on you. So, I don't know, maybe kind of start. Where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm born and raised here in Indianapolis. After high school, I joined the Army and served. And first, after training, went and spent a year in South Korea. And then when I moved back to States, I was stationed with 3rd Infantry Division down in Fort Stewart, Georgia.
All right.
So from there, we got deployed several times. It was all desert training. So you're we're stationed in a swamp doing all desert training. So
Pretend the water's not there.
really not the ideal environments,
right.
generally speaking.
There won't be alligators in the desert.
I will tell you, when I came back from deployment, I remember going and visiting my mother and father, and I'm sitting in the backyard that I grew up in, and I'm just like, it's so green.
Yeah.
Because over
It's
there,
amazing.
over there,
Brown,
only
right?
the richest billionaires, like, have water to sprinkle and grow grass and have greenery, So, anyway, yes, after the Army, I had a computer and communications background, and I worked with Monster.com with their network operations center.
Okay.
Got real tired of sitting in a keyboard in a cubicle doing this, and I got convinced to go work with family at a manufacturing plant as a production manufacturing engineer. So under their tutelage, I would say it probably took about 3 years to become really proficient as an engineer. You program something, it pretty much does what you program it to do. But when you're designing equipment, there's friction and gravity and voltage and all kinds of stuff, environmental aspects.
You just went way over
No,
my guy's head, just so you know.
Point being is, this is not easy. But yeah, after 10 years of being a proficient engineer, I spent time expanding and to grow my role and do more sales work, and then got recruited to work for a Japanese company to do machine vision technology. And then 2 years after that, I got recruited to go to the number one brand, which is an American brand, and did that for about 10 years.
Oh, all right.
And during that journey, my wife and I used to go, and I'm never a big beer drinker, or much of a drinker in general. But I really enjoyed the hunt for a good wine, right? It's easy. You'd learn you could pay a lot of money for a wine and still be disappointed.
Yeah.
And then when
I've learned that from Stephanie, who's become quite a wine person.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was doing a class actually doing that day, which is why she didn't get to me first.
Correct.
I think that's bourbon though, and it's gin and it's tequila as well. You can go spend a lot of money for one.
100%.
You find out it's not any good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but I remember it was a Thanksgiving with my wife's family, and all of a sudden I started reacting. And it was an allergic reaction. It just kept happening. It's like someone poured bleach on me.
Oh man.
And so I was like, well, I don't need to drink that badly. So then I discovered through just friendships, bourbon. And I realized that I could feel that same desire and passion of exploring through bourbon, and it didn't react with me at all.
Okay.
And I was really intrigued and fascinated by the variety of profiles that you can get in bourbon. And honestly, just the distilling nature and the industry in general, tequila, vodka, rum, whiskey, and bourbon, they all fundamentally go through the exact same process, right? You cook, ferment, distill, and polish. But just little tweaks here, there, paying attention, different strains, these little decisions all resulted in quite a large variance of output. And so through that, there's a section of non-committal, like what brought me into where I made the decision to start a distillery. But I made friends with a lot of master distillers and just through that journey, right? And there's a point where I had probably 200, well, you know, so I had like 200 bottles of bourbon, and they all are only missing about that much. I was like, just sipping and exploring.
Did you have a favorite bourbon back in the day?
Yeah. So
Maybe
we kind of touched on that earlier off camera that, a lot of people will chase a very high, like an allocated bottle, this or that. And I used to be frustrated on like the inability to acquire that. And then I realized, there's a lot of people way richer than I am, and they have to have hobbies that is exclusive to money. Right. Yeah. And so I really thought, oh, you know what? That's fine. That's their area. And honestly, the little limited I've gotten to taste, while there's been some stellar examples out there, I my friends and I would get together, put together blinds, taste, and just we would challenge ourselves. I wouldn't even have the key. My wife would put together the key, and then we would rank them all in a relative scale, and you would notice these ones over and over again, just kind of hitting at the top. And so my favorites, like I think Brown Forman does a phenomenal job with their whole portfolio of brands.
You know that one?
They bring us
Okay,
there you
cool.
go. Yeah, but Jack Daniels, like if you get into distilling, you realize just how, especially with barrel aging, how wild the profiles can come out of the barrels. And so they do a phenomenal job of consistency. So you really got to tip your hat to just the quality standards that they've done.
They're master blenders, so just killing.
Just they set a lot of standards on there in many ways from a standardization perspective, and they make good product, right? But the Old Forester line, the Prohibition style 1920, it's at 115 proof. That is a real hitter, right? And that one would over and over again beat out $200 bottles, in the blinds. Not that I was bringing those $200 bottles to the blinds.
Right.
But, and then another different Will brand was Noah's Mill. It was another, like I think it was 113 point. I forgot now, but again, in bourbon, you kind of go higher proof once, kind of like drinking drier in wine, kind of start pushing the proof to get those nuances,
Same in tequila.
Exactly.
More agave, but
yeah.
And I don't know what these nerds are that do blinds. Like, they're so,
exactly.
so nerdy to have,
this is number 5.
All I have is, the only
there's
thing
2.
I know about this is there's 10 of them.
Exactly.
And I know that they're blancos. That's all the information I have. And I have till October 18th to have them all rated and put into the agave matchmaker, which is no longer tequila matchmaker. So,
all right.
The travesty of all this is, well, before I get to that, but I was in Colorado and I was visiting a friend who ran a distillery, and I was telling him, I brought out some of my favorites. We were just sharing about his tasty brew. And I was sharing with him my thoughts that I've been considering for a while to start my own distillery. And he stopped me and he's like, I'll clean the language up, but he's like, you'd be a freaking fool not to do this. You know all the right people, the industry, that you have the palate, the nose, everything else. And I was like, you have that checklist of like things that hold you back, and it's like last hurdle kind of like. So that night I went back to the house that we were staying at with my sister. And I sat down with my wife and I was like, I think I really need to do this. I really want to do this, but I'm not doing it if you're not on board. Right. Cause it's going to be a lot of hard work. We're going to be kind of poor, for quite a while until this gets going. Cause we're putting everything.
We're going to be in a lot of liquor stores, not buying anything.
Yeah. So it was quite, I went in very open-eyed about the challenges, right? We're taking on massive companies that with a lot of money and a lot of reach. And, so I had ignorantly convinced myself, I wouldn't say ignorantly, but, optimistically convinced myself that I could do something special. And, we talked about it and she agreed. She's wonderful, gave me a lot of trust.
Nice.
And believes in me. And, we started that journey, like I said, about 3 years or so ago. I kind of lose track of time. It's still Tuesday, right?
No, it's Thursday.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that story started with bourbon. Was it your intention to start a bourbon company or did you straight do vodka?
Yeah, I had a vision for a mash bill of a 4-grain bourbon that, and
he uses words we don't even know.
Like, how often that happens on this show for me?
You're talking to one guy that just goes, let me fill this application out for you. Yeah. And then this guy goes, the toilet's in that room there.
That's right. Correct.
So a lot of bourbons are made with 3 grains, but a 4-grain is a profile. And a lot of them are very grain forward. And I worked with a local company, a great guy that was doing the grains and prepping, malting it, right? It was a local malting company. And so I had this vision. And so I'm putting all my business plan together and what's the investment going to be? What are my options? Had meetings with bankers, you know what I mean? And had the reality come crushing down that you do your cash flow analysis and you can't make stuff for 5 years, right? You never sell anything and still have a business.
Yeah.
And I can't emphasize enough how much of a dilemma this was for me. Because in the bourbon world, Fred Minnick is a reviewer and a connoisseur of bourbon. And you probably know of his podcast. And there's a saying, he ends it on every show. And just remember, vodka sucks. Right. and the thing is I've really did not enjoy vodka because it always had a burn. It was just, it was kind of like you're always trying to hide it in a whatever mixed drink that you're doing.
Yeah. I've always looked at vodka as the really, really alcoholic bass player in every band. That's what they drank, is vodka a gallon a day. Like that was the drink that they chose.
It's the guy that traveled around with the band, right? Like,
no, it's Duff McKagan, actually. The bass player for Guns N' Roses.
I'll be honest, I rarely, maybe if ever, have heard of people that, slow drink vodka like you do with tequila, like people do with bourbon.
Yeah, so I'm changing that.
Okay.
Actually, I have people that drink it over ice.
Oh.
It's so my biggest challenge is just complete lack of exposure, which is why I'm so grateful for you guys to invite me today.
You're welcome. The 12 people watching.
I was going to say,
appreciate you.
6 people can't be wrong.
123 subscribers. Yeah. Could be huge.
Well, but it's a testament of just the one, you need massive growth in the beginning because your numbers are 0, and then like 2 is now 4 times.
Yeah,
I just doubled my sales.
so we had excellent growth. I chose a local distributor because again,
who's your distributor?
Cornerstone.
Okay, Cornerstone.
Wine Street. Yep. So I reached out. Bill Ferguson Wax F's the owner. He reached out to me directly, and this was 2 years, about 2 years ago, in like the end of the year, December, January. And I said, I'm looking for a distributor. I've got this. And he's like, look, man, 1, I'm not looking to bring any new product in. 2, not a vodka, right? We bring in really high quality stuff, right? It has to be something special. And we talked pricing strategies and stuff. And I said, not concerned, right? I like what you're saying, and I'm convinced you'll see something special here. So he agreed graciously. He's like, you know what? I like your thoughts on the market and where we can fit this in. You're on board with what I think. So we met up. I met with him and a few other of his staff that he trusted, and did a little tasting. And he immediately saw the differentiation of it. And you're talking about a guy who's really focused on like just very high end spirits. And he's actually introduced me to a couple things. I'm just like, oh, this is fantastic. I've never even heard of this. Right. And yeah, so, by the end of that month, we had a contract settled.
Oh, very nice.
I introduced to the brand, like his sales team, and we hit the road. And so I'm out there, and his team's out there, and we're getting entries into stores and into bars. And by that first year, I had become their number 2 brand.
Very nice.
Right. So that gives it sense. It's a small
I'm
distributor.
going to assume it's more than 2 in the brand.
Right. He has more than 3 people. Like 3 brands.
The key is you're getting liquor to lips. I mean, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick. In Indiana, for instance, every state runs their own like regulations and laws.
And you don't have to have an importer because there's a whole nother tier when you're
right. Oh gosh, I can't even imagine. This is hard enough.
Right? Yeah.
And so in Indiana, it's a 3-tier state. So I'm not allowed. We won't get into our still just like license, but just standard distribution. I have to go and sell to a distributor, then sells to retail, which then sells to the customers. So I have like a couple degrees of separation between the end customer base and then myself. But just getting a distributor is not enough, right? Now we got to get retail outlets to pick it up. So I'm involved in that.
You got to get good shelf space.
100%.
Once you get it,
there's a lot of challenges, right? So just getting on the shelf, again, not done, right? Because if you ever gone down a vodka aisle, I mean, it's
there's a lot
inundated with a lot of product.
Yeah.
And all my distiller friends and bourbon tasting group friends are like, you're crazy doing vodka. Like, this is dumb. And I'm like, no, I think I got something, right? And then we do tastings, and that's which is where
Yep.
And it was that tasting after tasting, we're selling 1 to 3 cases every single time.
Awesome.
And I get the liquor stores are like, man, I've never seen a tasting event go that well.
Yeah.
Especially for straight vodka.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very proud and happy with what we've accomplished. Right. But beyond that, I'm grateful because when you go and ask someone if you'd like to try a little bit of straight vodka, that's kind of a nightmare scenario.
I bet. Yeah.
You know, I just did a tasting for Yayo Tequila at West Clay Wine and Spirits.
Oh, yeah.
Right. They've got a great tasting room there, and
Chip and John have been
Great.
fantastic. They've been very supportive.
they had a wine tasting going on at the same time. You know, so there's 1.5 million people trying to get a wine over here, and I'm like, hey, you want to try some Blanco tequila? Remember college? That's the most common comment.
Oh, I'm in the exact
That's-
same situation. I have the table off to the side where I do just my vodka and the back shot.
Oh, I had that in college.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have this in
No,
college,
exactly.
right?
And
No.
you got the amount of trauma that we try to overcome with people, right,
Absolutely.
is massive, and it is so rewarding to have them, just see the difference.
We sold out every Yayo bottle that he brought.
Outstanding.
So it was
That's
like,
awesome.
we won.
I feel we need to taste.
I
some.
am already saying.
So
Can-
yeah, you have
can we
some shot
crack this
glasses?
There's
open?
some clean Glencairns back there. We're not going to we're going to taste it. We're not going to shoot it.
Here, let me go.
Can I open this one?
Sure, that'll be room temperature.
That's the
which-
way I drink.
Totally.
So I usually taste at room temperature because I will also offer an opportunity to contrast,
Mhm.
and that is the best when someone goes and tastes mine. They're like, oh, that's pretty good, and then they
Unless you
taste.
pour your own. Sorry. I don't know how much you want, but
When they taste what they said was their favorite, and then they go,
Oh, I do it here.
I don't remember that tasting like that.
Oh, with tequila, we talk about additives, right? There's so much junk in tequila. So I have a table of misfit tequilas over there. And that is for when we're done with the tasting. And I've taken you through a great Blanco Repo Añejo, a high proof, maybe an XA, maybe gave you a really nice Tepazate, Mezcal, or some Soltol. And now you've got this agave flavor profile. And they're like, oh, what was your favorite one? A Clase Azul. Well, let me pour you a little bit of it. It almost always ends up back in the glass,
Yeah.
and they don't realize how much it tastes medicinal
Oh,
or
100%.
metallic.
And that's human nature. And that's why having them do a comparison side by side is kind of critical in many ways because it's hard to judge something in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Right, when you don't have something to compare it to.
Sure.
And then two, human nature is I chose this, so I like it.
Right.
And I was
I
told
drink
this
it
was
all the
good.
time,
And
it's
so right, exactly.
Tastes
And
like cotton candy.
so changing people's minds, there's one of the things, and I told you I was in professional sales earlier before. And part of the axiom of professional sales is you're not going to change someone's mind. So if someone had a bad experience prior to you getting there,
Yeah.
you're not going to, and you acknowledge that and say, I can't, speak to that, but let me show you what I can do. Right.
Mhm.
So you're not going to change a person's perspective. What we can do is offer them an opportunity to have a new decision. Right. A new
100%.
experience. And that has been critical. And so good. Now, normally you wouldn't nose a vodka, right?
And I was going to ask you, what would I pick up on a vodka to nose it?
Yeah. So,
Like I got a little bit of alcohol, but I get a grain note as well.
yeah, it's going to be very clean and very, minimal in its expression. Right. Normally I kind of describe, joke. It's one of my little puns jokes I go to on a tasting. So I describe the aroma of vodka as the sense of impending doom. Usually it's like, this is going to be bad. And if you give this, you notice it. I don't want to speak for you.
yeah.
He always gets nothing.
That's
He has no.
Well, yeah, COVID kind of.
That didn't. Even prior to
Yeah,
COVID,
yeah.
sadly, my sense of
You would
taste
think
and
I'd be
smell
better
was
with such a
not
big
great.
schnoz.
You could put a turd in there, and if you didn't tell him, he's like, "Is it chocolate pudding?" I'm
That's
getting
right.
chocolate.
It's a Nocciolino. Yeah,
Easy.
so
I get this is going to be very weird for me to say, but I get a pepper note.
So one thing I've learned is that everybody's palate and sensory inputs are different. And
Definitely.
so I really don't like biasing people's expectations. And when you see tasting notes, I've always been kind of confused because not everyone's going to experience the same pour the same way.
No,
But what you should generally walk away with is it's very clean, very subtle.
Yeah,
You don't get that ethanol burn.
No, I didn't
your
get
nose.
I do so like we teach
I get
people
clean.
to do one, to do two. And by the time you go into your third, the alcohol is usually gone.
I would propose that would be kind of a painful experience with the most vodkas out there.
And especially on that first nose, because
100%. It's just,
it's all
Pure
all
ethanol.
pure ethanol.
but one thing you'll notice is just how soft this is.
It is. It's interesting.
So now when you do a taste, I know you just did.
That's
So
okay.
when you do a taste, pay attention to the mouthfeel,
Mhm.
right? Normally a vodka has a lot of astringency to it. It'll strip your palate. It burns on the way back. This has a lot softer and rounder mouthfeel than a typical vodka would have.
So
And
are you
the
doing that in
finish,
fermentation or are you doing that in distillation? Fermentation
I
is
would
really
not
where the
say
magic is, but
Yeah, so the answer really is it's in all of it.
I'm Brian, your Indianapolis realtor. If you are looking to buy or sell a house in the Indy area, I'm your guy. If you're coming from out of state, want to make a move to the Indy area, I'm your guy. Check out the show notes for a link. We can get in touch and get you started. Thanks for watching. Now back to the show.
So paying attention to all details and respecting the full process of it is why you can achieve a level that you do. They'll put, you notice I don't have on my bottle distilled 10 times or 6 times or 5, whatever, you filtered so many, because a lot of that is really marketing fluff to create separation.
You hear that?
in a
Marketing fluff.
well, yeah. Especially if you learn how a column still works. Do you use column or pot, or what are you using for
you're not-
distillation?
Anyone telling you they're pot stilling that may be part of a post process, but you're column stilling vodka, because you got to take this to 190 plus proof.
Right.
And that would be days and days and days, but very, very inefficient.
Right.
Proof on this.
So this is proofed at 80 proof.
Okay.
Finish.
So when you're coming out of, so you're doing column still, how many plates do you go through on your column still?
I don't go into all that detail.
Okay. That's fine. I understand why.
Yeah, it's just because that's not so much what's important.
Right.
Again, like the rheology of your temperature rate of change and profile, and how you're doing, separation. A lot of times the burn you're getting, that ethanol burn that vodkas have, because they're just churning and burning fast.
Right.
They're producing at light speed, and they're not slowing down. Now you go too slow, that has some adverse effects.
Absolutely.
You go too fast, it has a lot of adverse effects. But so really just the nuance of what is that wort, needing for that separation of the compounds.
So I have a question like in tequila and most of them are using pot stills, either copper pots or stainless steel with a copper coil, or some all stainless steel.
I really like all copper.
I do too. The one I gave you today was all copper, but some people pick up a metallic note, and copper is important in grain spirits because the sulfur offsets, but in agave that doesn't need that same offset. So you can use a coil and get the same
100%. I agree with what you're saying.
But when you're doing,
the pot itself is the lowest
I agree.
requirement on that's the
best.
material choice. But
Excuse my ignorance. What is vodka made from?
So a lot
For those of
people,
you maybe asking the same question.
absolutely.
there's
So
a lot of things. You can
a
make
lot of
vodka.
people go and say, I thought it was all made out of potatoes, right? And that's a common misnomer, right? The Polish really kind of popularized the potato, but
because they had a lot of potatoes.
the vast
Let's do something with
majority,
these.
What are you going to grow
vast
there?
majority is
Potatoes.
wheat. Followed
Okay.
by like maybe rye, but then corn is made, like especially in the United States, it's the number one. It's corn.
We got a lot
That's
of
what
corn.
We have, yeah. And so, they say there's more than corn in India. Well, there's Hoosa, right? So it's
There's Hoosa Vodka, baby.
There you go.
So where is your distillery located?
yeah. So I'm on the near east side of downtown. Now there's no signs, there's no tasting room or bar. So it's
Is there
nothing
gonna be?
fancy? Not at this location, not
Okay.
for a while. Because one, I'm not really interested in renting a bar.
Hmm.
Even though, again, all my friends that have distilleries, they're like, man, you're crazy. That's where the revenue is, right? Well, it's just a choice that I'm making. Is that I'm focused on making just the product stand out purely on its own. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I want
That's where you are in your journey.
I want to get it on the shelves and then be out. My tasting room is at all the liquor stores, right?
Sure.
And my tasting events is probably like 75% tastings, 25% charity events. There's a lot of great charities that you can support and do tastings on holes, like golf outings. And
So we have a charity event happening here on November 8th. We're having a casino night. We'll have blackjack and
Craps
and roulette, and we will have Maxwell Park tequila, hiatus tequila, Fortune Spool whiskey.
Siempre?
Siempre is doing a giveaway.
Okay.
Los Flores doing a giveaway, and we got lots of brands. Valor's doing a big giveaway. We're going to raise money for 2 charities: the Hint of Buena Foundation, which is bringing fresh water to a small town San Pedro de los Landeros in
Muy bien.
Jalisco,
I know.
Mexico. Jalisco, Mexico. I got the hard part right. Mexico wrong. And then we'll also be raising money for Pearls of Life, which is Dawn Pollard's foundation. Scott Pollard's wife, the NBA player that had to have the heart transplant. The money goes to help make organ donors.
Up in organ donation
Up
possible.
in the what's the word I'm looking for, Brian?
recovery.
No, for people to know about it.
I wish I could tell you. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
See,
The toilet room's in there.
Doesn't it help for the costs of the families?
it also brings awareness to
Okay.
or awareness was
Nice.
the difficult word that I was looking
Right.
for.
Wait, we had this giant 7-foot tall NBA player, Scott Pollard, on our show.
Very nice.
That's where we heard about
I
that.
look like I'm 9.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. So anyway, so afterwards
maybe we should have
we
you
can talk about
here
that.
November 8th. You could do some tastings,
let's talk
and
about it.
we'll put that together.
Awesome.
We love doing charity events as well.
yeah. There's a fine line. So a lot of them I'll make like a specialty drink for them, like or we're just loading the bar with product for them to use it and pour the free
Yeah.
drinks or even to buy drinks to support whatever the charity is.
Okay.
There's a fine line between enough inebriation to boost the charity
too much.
donations and then just blacking everyone
Yeah.
out.
Who
So,
does somebody have a mop bucket? We don't want to get to mop bucket
I
stage.
think I've been responsible for Uber's spike. and
could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
I can guarantee you this guy right here has been very responsible for Uber drives from
Right.
us.
So I would assume the majority of your weekends is out at liquor stores doing tastings and pitching your stuff, right?
Correct. Yeah, I spend a lot of Fridays and Saturdays doing sometimes Thursdays. Wednesdays and earlier days are typically reserved for doing meetings with owners. And
Tasting on
bartenders.
Mondays are for drunks.
A lot of times the bars are closed or,
Yeah.
other places,
Yeah.
Hey, do you got
On
a small
Mondays.
bottle from the AA meeting?
Really got to help me get through. All right. So
Well,
one of-
I have a vodka question first.
oh, I was going to switch to a different one here.
Where's
All
the sweetness come from?
Okay, so part of that is that's you get that on the finish, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I get a really nice sweetness.
Yeah, and so that is something I'm proud of. I developed through experimentation. I was able to understand the effects of the different parts of the process.
Yep.
And a lot of places, filter the heck out of their stuff to get rid of basically a lot of the mistakes that they've
Sure.
introduced in their shortcuts on the distillation process. And so being able to go and let's just generically say eliminate the things you don't want, but then keep that nature of the grain and the corn, the
Mhm.
sweetness of the corn and the roundness of it. That's the part I'm proud of achieving. Right. And so I have a process that it goes through and half of it is practically that, not just the distillation and fermentation.
I mean, that sweetness that I don't think I've ever got a vodka that I've tasted that I have just a really nice round sweetness in the finish.
One of the funnest things when I'm doing like introducing to a lot of bars is I'll say, what is your signature drink? And, would you be willing to make one as you would with your default pour
Sure. Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
make
it's a
one
great
with
thing.
mine?
Absolutely.
And it is nearly 100%. They're like, wow, this is better.
I guarantee
right?
it with that
puts
sweetness.
it forward. And the sweetness is complementary to a lot of what they're trying to
Yeah.
accomplish. It's not overly sweet.
No,
it's not-
it's just got
Very
a
subtle.
very subtle, but a sweetness I've never had in a vodka. What's your price point for just about?
Yeah. So the standard price point targets, now, so they range by a couple dollars.
Sure.
Just every store sets their prices accordingly. But typically target price is $17.99 for a fifth of the straight, and then $19.99 on the pickle shots.
So
you
what-
can find it as low as $15.99 at some place.
What's a well vodka cost?
So that there's one thing that we have to talk about is the idea of a well versus a default pour.
Mm.
Okay. So some places their well is their default pour and they won't go with like the bottom of the bottom, like a bellows or something.
Yeah,
like that.
a lot of the places I go, their well tequila is a great tequila, right?
Okay.
It's not a $40 tequila.
No, right.
It's probably a $30 or $25
It's
tequila.
probably, lower than that typically, but yeah.
This is a common well liter bottle,
Suerte.
$33
Yeah.
retail. So it's less for them, on the bar side. So this is coming in at like $19 for the bar
Yeah,
to pour
exactly.
a very clean tequila.
100%.
And Zumbador has hit this market. it's a $22 bottle retail, so it falls into that well, but it's like this. It's got a flavor that is so much better than everybody's normal.
Yep.
Well,
So you'll see like Smirnoff and Wheatley's and Tito's and others be that kind of some types of well, but other places will put like dirt cheap, like almost free vodka as the well. But the thing is, if you ask for like a vodka soda or something, they're not going to pour you the well. They're going to automatically upgrade you to their default pour.
gotcha. Okay.
So that's why I kind of made that delineation there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so when we go in and we ask, what is your default pour, right? Not your well. Because if they go with the cheap well, there's no way I can compete with that. Right?
Gotcha.
But I can compete with all the rest.
Gotcha.
Right. And so
Cool.
the elephant in the room, right, is like Tito's is like just the number one by far. And so that is what I come up against.
Is Tito's like the top vodka right now?
Oh, by far.
No kidding.
Tito's has done a phenomenal good market.
For real.
job.
Yeah.
They just in the state of like Indiana and like Ohio and stuff, they probably outsell the next 4 brands combined.
No kidding.
Wow.
We're talking just straight vodka.
I mean, I'm a fan of Tito's, and they do a lot for dogs, and they come
We're
from
a fan.
Texas. I'm not as big a fan now, right? I don't know. Maybe they'll go public and they'll be on Y'all Street. You know what Y'all Street is?
What's that?
Texas just got approved to have the next stock market in the state of Texas. So they are going to have a trading floor like Wall Street.
Like that play on words, that Y'all Street.
Keep in mind, there's some things happening in New York that a lot of big Wall Street people may not want to stay there, right? Actually, JP Morgan Chase now employs more people in the state of Texas than the state of New York, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're calling it Y'all Street, which I think is a great name.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. All right. We got some pickle vodka here.
Yes.
Are we going to do that as our shot, our mid-show shot?
I think we are.
Okay.
We are. Can I crack this open?
Yes. So we have 2 options.
You were going to say there's the dill one and the spice one. We're not doing the
We
spice.
got to do both.
No,
No.
I'm not.
We got to taste through both. You have to. You can muscle through. Your nose thing isn't even
True.
going to pick up
All right,
on it.
probably won't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
Describe the spicy level on this. It's spicy enough to be interesting, but not regrettable.
All right.
I'll tell you what I use afterwards. Otherwise, I'll terrify you.
Which should we start with?
So let me ask
we're
you,
going to do both.
should we do them in sips or should we do them in shots? How do you recommend doing them?
Oh, you could just make a very small pour.
Say it is called dill pickle shot.
Yeah, let me go ahead and grab. If you don't, it was okay to step off and grab.
Yeah,
and I got
absolutely.
I got some good shot glasses.
So we're going to start with the dill pickle shot. Let me just kind of make a. That way we're not inundating you guys.
Oh.
Okay, I'm a manly pour, so you can fill me
I'll
up.
take this one.
There you go.
I have an 8 today, so I really wanted to hit.
And you don't have to drive anywhere.
So the nice
I
thing
know.
is these are 30 proof, so they're 15%. So essentially, these are like pre-made pickle backs, right? If you're familiar with the pickleback.
I am. Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and give that a smell. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
So I make my own brine.
It's very pickly.
It is.
Mhm.
It is a pickle shot. So-
Wow, you ain't playing. That is pickle.
Woo!
Wow. Okay.
That was pickle. Woo!
Yep.
I have a pickle moonshine that actually has pickles in the moonshine, and that's more pickly than my pickle moonshine.
So I make my own brine.
Okay.
And then I infuse that with my vodka that you tasted earlier.
Yeah.
So this is fresh garlic, fresh dill, mustard seed. So it's all just real ingredients. There's no coloring added. There's no flavoring added. You can see by the cloudiness, right? It's just a sincere product.
No avocantes. That's Spanish for additive.
Yeah, a lot of
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
a lot of others you'll look at and they'll have kind of that nuclear green color and
Yeah.
totally transparent.
Yeah.
And that's essentially coloring. And
Coloring.
flavoring.
Fake.
Yeah.
In fact, some of them stick them in the sunlight at all and they go clear.
So is glycerin a common product used in vodka?
Not in my vodka.
Well, I realize that, but in the world of
This is
vodka.
Brad's. You can pour however much you want in there. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So this one's my personal favorite.
That pours a panty
We
dropper
can go
pour
easy
right
on this
there.
guy.
You
That's
hear me?
good. Yeah,
That's a panty dropper pour.
Ooh, that's a little more than the one I just had. All
Yeah,
right.
I may have accidentally done that on purpose.
So how would you like to describe this one?
So, well, it's obviously a spicy version of the exact same Bill, right? You want cheers?
Yeah. Come on.
Cheers.
Here we go. Wish milk. It's got a little kick to it.
I like the spice. I like that one better because I like that spice at the end.
It feels like it's going to hit a lot higher than it does.
Yeah.
It peaks out nicely.
Yeah, it does.
Now,
And it heats up. Nice heat.
you get the garlic, you get the dill, you get the vinaigrette, the salt, and the heat, the pepper flavor. So I use habanero peppers.
Hmm.
And the nice thing is you can control for the heat and the flavor intensity separately.
Yeah.
Through time and dilution.
That's very good.
So
That
and then-
pepper just
and right-
stays there.
It's hanging on, isn't it?
I was going
Like
to say
a
right
hair
about
and a
now,
biscuit.
that spice level should be dropping.
Oh, for sure. But still, the
It's
pepper
still
is
in
there.
it. Hangs on.
Do the flavor of that.
Yeah, I like it. In
Yeah.
fact,
Mm.
whatever you taste on your palate hangs on in your finish, and it affects what you taste
Yeah,
next in your
100%.
palate. So I'm going to
Absolutely.
taste the tequila right after that. Do you still have that tequila I poured you?
I do.
See how that
Yeah.
pepper and that heat affects that tequila.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for me, it amped up the pepper of the tequila.
Yep. I can see that.
You didn't get to try
That's
that.
quite all right.
I know. But
Yeah,
it
I
also
don't need amped pepper.
it also
Thanks.
highlighted the sweetness of this. Do you think? Did you get like more of a
Well, it
sweet-
contrasts nicely, right?
Yeah.
Come to the salty brininess of the.
We almost should do it the opposite direction.
Well, one of the nights, so there's about 4 ways that people drink the pickle shots. Either some do it, a lot of bars do it straight shots, and sometimes they'll rim the around the top of it with tahini. Some people drink it.
tahini would be
some-
really good with it.
Yeah. Some people sip it over ice. Some cocktail bars will make dirty martinis using it. So they'll, whatever ratio they want.
And I would add that in a margarita
Blood-
and add the spice of a spicy margarita.
Well,
with that
Bloody Mary.
brininess in there.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I see
So
Bloody
good.
Mary.
So yeah, perfect ratio. Like I've worked with a lot of bartenders on creating like that perfect ratio of a Bloody Mary, and we say it's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Right. So it's 1 part straight Hoosa,
Mhm.
2 parts spicy pickle shot, and then 3 parts your mix, whatever you prefer. A lot of them times it's like original Zing Zang. All right, but it's not too watered down. It's not too thick. It's the heat with the pepper comes through nicely. It's a really brilliant Bloody Mary.
I still have the heat there. Do you still have the heat there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. It's a lot way hotter than the housing market.
See, to me, it's all I can detect I'm enjoying the kind of the flavor profile.
Yeah.
But it's not like the intensities.
No, it's not bad. I mean, I like it.
Like,
It's
God,
it's like when I get a tequila that the finish like
Yeah.
lingers just really long
Well,
time.
that
It's
heat
very
dropping
similar.
like that was very important in the design. Like you only control so much.
Right.
But what you want is a drink where you drink it and it's like, oh, that's a wonderful experience. It finishes off pleasantly, and then you're like, I want more.
Right, because it's still hanging around. I
And then,
again.
and that is a kind of a good mark of a well-crafted beverage.
Yeah.
And you can't have that heat staying too long because
Yeah.
otherwise it just keeps amping up.
For real.
So
Yeah, the next one would be hotter, and the next
oh,
one.
I
would be
was
hotter.
extremely pleased when I saw just how the progression of flavor profiles kind of went over the palate, and then the finish, and then that heat level drops. And it makes for a consumable beverage.
So, a couple of business questions. Hoosa Vodka, where does that name come from?
Yeah, so I credit my wife for inspiring, reminding me of when we went to like the Indiana Historical Society. In there they have a whole bunch of stories about where Hoosier came from, and a lot of people don't know this, but Hoosier is one of the things that's really unique about the moniker of Hoosier is that it's completely lost to history. Like nobody really knows. Everyone knows like why Oklahoma Sooners are called Sooners.
No, there's
right?
a story that everybody
there's a lot of
knows.
stories.
It was a bar in Bloomington, and these guys got in a fight. And during that fight, one of the person's ears was cut off, and literally a person said, "Hoosier," and Hoosier. That's where it came from.
Yeah, the Van Gogh was taken already as a name. So,
They call it a Hoosier.
so one of the stories, though,
You didn't know that story? That's true. Yeah,
You just made that up.
I did.
anyone that tells you is they're all just arguing over which one's real, and I have no idea which one's real, right?
I don't either.
But in the 1850s, what is known is that the governor at the time, his name was Joseph Wright, and he proposed that the word Hoosier was inspired by a native word for corn, which was Hoosa.
Now, there you go.
Right now, whether that's true or not, I thought, here I am in Indiana. I'm a Hoosier.
I go for it.
I use only local Indiana corn.
Yep.
And I thought, what a perfect name. And since it's not used, I can trademark it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, very nice.
So yeah,
That ear they found was actually in the oaken bucket because Purdue had lost.
nice.
Well played. All right, I do want to adjust this a little bit. Either slide this way a little bit. There you go.
Okay, so
Wait, no, I had another business question. How big is your company in terms of people you employ? How many
It is
are part
me
of
and
this?
my family, my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
and are you the master distiller as well?
All of it.
You
Yeah.
play with the whole process. That's so cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that I have a lot of admiration for people that entrepreneurs that create jobs. And I think that's one of the greatest things that you can ever do, right? To allow people to have something that they can be proud of and make a life for themselves.
Totally agree.
Right. And that's one of the greatest forms of charity that you can do. And so I really am gunning for that point where I can go and pay myself.
Yeah, that part's pretty cool. When you own your own business, a lot of people don't realize that payroll went out and I didn't get a check.
Yeah. There's years
Yeah.
of no pay. Right. I stopped losing money, back in December.
That's
Okay.
always great.
Right.
Yeah, that's
when
good.
the hole gets filled.
Yeah. And then it's just a slow dig out of the hole. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's
The bankers get paid.
They do. All right. So what's the reach of Hoosa? Is it only Indiana or are you outside?
as of right now, I'm only in Indiana.
Okay.
I'm getting requests for outside of Indiana as people come in and experience, and they're like,
That's
"Hey,
great.
I'm in Illinois or Kentucky. I got people in Florida." So, that's a hurdle that I'm working on. But from Indiana, like I said, I'm roughly 200 liquor stores and bars across from Mishawaka and South Bend down to Evansville, from Terre
That's
Haute
awesome.
over to Anderson. Right.
Okay.
So you have a website where people can check
Yeah.
out your information?
HoosaVodka.com.
Can people buy it from your website?
Right. So we have the retail outlets, and Indiana, I don't believe you could ship.
I know you're available at Total Wine.
That's true. They were the first national brand. And honestly, our strategy was to focus on locally owned and really do that. But they actually came to us
Very
and,
nice.
and made that request.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
It's great tasting vodka.
they do a thing where they go and make an announcement to all all distributors and say, who's carrying this? Right. And so Cornerstone was like, hey, we just got a request for Total Wine for your product. And they've been very good to me. They have it at a competitive price, and they've had me in for tastings. Though we've been doing a great job of selling out at a lot of them every time I do a tasting. But people be like, hey, I tried to come buy it. It's not there. It's like, yeah, I had a tasting event. All right.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Selling out
Yeah.
is
Good
always
problem
a good
to
thing.
have.
Unless you're a punk rocker, selling out's bad.
I cut you off. You were going to ask a question.
I forget it now.
All right. Good times. What else do you need to know?
I don't know. I want to come play with the distillery.
Is this your wife's full-time job or does she do something else?
No. She is at the high school.
Oh, okay.
Works there.
Well, I want to say thanks. I mean, my bar, I believe, has operated properly. It hasn't done anything weird. It's not used to having
This beverage.
this
on top.
beverage on top, but it's done okay. I'm
Beer
proud
every
of it.
now and then is okay.
Yeah.
But and thank you so much for coming out here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully this, helps the growth of your company. And go visit your local Total Wine or other local liquor store here in Indiana. Get yourself some Hoosa vodka. I'm gonna say I'm surprised, but you need to try the pickle. I was less than optimistic, but
It's
man,
pretty
it
awesome.
was good.
The question
gonna
I
have
ask
another
people,
glass.
right, is do you hate pickles? You notice how you said that? in the
Yes,
text.
yeah, that is what you asked me.
And that's the question, because if you say, do you like pickles? People are like, I mean, no. But do you hate them? Like, if
Right,
people hate
right.
it, don't try it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah.
true.
No,
It
if
is
you hate
a strong
it's
pickle
pickles.
taste.
It's pickles.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I'm amazed at how many people absolutely love pickles.
For real.
It's huge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
More than like you.
now I'm somebody, I don't like spicy things. And so that's why I was reluctant to
No,
go
I
with spicy
understand.
pickle.
I
And
appreciate
that-
you trying it.
It was pleasant, man. I'm not going to lie.
How do
So,
you not like spicy?
dude, let's not get into it.
Gosh,
All right.
I don't like no ginger. I
Well,
don't like no spicy things.
Thanks for being here,
Cheers.
TJ.
Oh, appreciate you. Dylan.
And
Cheers, my
go
friend.
get
Thank you for
yourself some Hoosa vodka. Till next time, thanks for watching. Indiana Success Happy Hour. Cheers!
See you next time.
It's Brian and Brad, grab your seat. Real talk served with a boozy beat. Tune in, don't even blink, 'cause real estate makes us drink.